Everyone, and thanks for tuning in to this week's video message. 2023 was not an easy year for many of us. I know that members of our TBT community struggled in many different ways on a personal level, be it with significant health issues or having lost a loved one this year, others dealing with the challenges as parents of young children or as children of aging parents, others struggled with loneliness, with despair. And on a communal level, this was also not an easy year for us. Not only for us as TBT, but for us as a Jewish people, as we've been living through such a devastating time of war. For nearly 90 days, we've watched and experienced this terrible war unfold between Israel and Hamas. We have seen nearly 1,400 Israelis die and hundreds of Israelis remaining in captivity in Gaza. We see hundreds of Israeli families begging for the release of their loved ones, enduring the pain of not knowing what's befalling their loved ones in Gaza. It's a devastating time for Israelis. For Palestinians as well, with over 22,000 innocent Palestinian people having lost their lives in this war, including over 8,000 Palestinian children who've lost their lives. They're experiencing a terrible humanitarian crisis because of this war, struggling daily with the lack of food, water, shelter, and warmth in the winter. Jewish and Muslim communities around the globe are also facing this devastating experience of increased hatred and violence because of this war. 2023 has been a time of incredible devastation due to this war, and I fear that this devastation will only continue. Now, as 2023 came to a close, I think many of us prayed and hoped for a better 2024. That we prayed as 2023 came to a close, that this year will see an end to this war, that in 2024 we'll enjoy peace and safety and health and happiness in our individual lives and in our families, but also in the world. I share this hope and this prayer for 2024, and I join you in raising up this yearning to the Holy One of Blessing in this new year. Yet I've also really come to understand through my own experience that this hope for 2024 that we have will only remain alive if we actively keep that hope alive. Our hope for peace and for safety and for health and for happiness is a hope that we have to tend like a fire. Otherwise, that hope will simply go out. Hope is something that we have to work at, is something that we have to work to sustain if it is going to sustain us in return. Now, there's so many ways that we can sustain our hope, that we can keep a hope alive that will sustain us. We can do certain kinds of spiritual practice, like praying together as a community, our prayers for peace, for healing, for connection. All of this gives us so much sustenance and hope. We can tend to our hopes through our actions in the world, like getting involved in movements for peace and reconciliation between Israelis and Palestinians, or getting involved in our local interfaith group, which is building such a strong and meaningful community across our religious differences. There are simply so many ways that we can sustain the flame of hope within ourselves. And I hope that each of us will find our own way to sustain our hope so that it can sustain us through this devastating time in return. With that, I want to invite each of us to reflect this week. How are you feeling in this current moment about the war in Israel and Gaza? And as we move into this new year, what might you do to sustain your hopes and prayers for peace and safety and health and happiness? As usual, I look forward to hearing your responses to these questions. You can reach me at rabbi@bethtorah.org. I look forward to hearing what's on your heart and your mind.